I've constantly heard bad things about Nestle.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, what is their deal? Do you know anything about them?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, when you're in the water business, that's already pretty unethical. You know what I mean?
What do they do?
Well, I mean, it's like something you need for survival, and these guys are basically going to a local resource, like a natural resource, shutting off access to it, and then reselling it back to the people that live there. Well, I would say that's like kind of problematic at least. But then also on top of that, like on the chocolate front, they utilize child slave labor. However, they outsource it to third-party companies that are completely beyond their control. And the safety mechanisms that they've put in place, I think it's like the Chocolate Alliance, if I'm not mistaken, is like it's like a regular NGO, shady, not exactly consistent, and as far as I understand, the United States Supreme Court ruled that Mars, Nestle, and other American-based or multinational corporations that utilize child slave labor are not legally culpable for any of the damages if they were to ever be sued by the child slave laborers.
Interesting.
Is that because
that
there's
was a
some
recent Supreme Court
deniability that they could say, well, we hired this company and we're not responsible for what that company does. And if they do that, we don't know about it.
Yeah.
Is it one of those? Okay.
It's one of those like, oh no, I can't believe the people that we outsource this like hiring process in the global South is utilizing child slave labor. Like, oh. But then again, you got multiple states in the United States of America unwinding child labor laws, so things are looking great here.
Could you explain that? Yeah.
I don't want to mess this up.
We're pulling up sources here on the Ice Coffee.
But
I think this might be the first time we've had sources pulled up like this.
Well, that's good. We know it's legitimate.
But I know Arkansas, or what some people call Arkansas, but I call Arkansas, was recently making a move, and I think Idaho as well.
Is it to lower the age that a minor would be able to work? Or what is...
Missouri Independent title says, Kids at Work. States try to ease child labor laws at the behest of industry. Now, this, of course, is following like a sea of NLRB investigations that were conducted at poultry plants where children were found. Hyundai had a facility in Alabama where children were actually working in the facility. Oftentimes, these are undocumented kids. The Hyundai facilities, I believe in 2 different facilities, they found children all the way from like 12 to 12-year-old, 14-year-olds working at the facilities on the assembly line. There was another investigation conducted where they found that cleaning companies that they were utilizing late at night were also hiring children.
I would love to get more detail about exactly what they want to do, because I know titles could be one thing, a title could be misconstrued, but I wouldn't be opposed necessarily if they make it easier for a teenager or someone who wants to work after school a certain amount of hours, more access to be able to work if they want to.
Yeah.
But again, it depends on exactly what this says.
I can tell you what it is. 11 states have done this, and they've either passed or introduced laws to roll back child labor laws. A push that's coming from industry trade organizations and conservative legislators for the most part. In the past 2 years, those states have moved to extend working hours for children, eliminate work permit requirements, and lower age for teens to handle alcohol or work in hazardous industries.
That would be an interesting one, because Jack, you worked at a restaurant, but you couldn't serve the alcohol, right?
Correct. Yes, correct. Until I turned 21. But a lot of restaurants, like, they don't actually listen to that. Not trying to throw my old restaurant under the bus here, but restaurants don't really adhere to that.
Yeah.
It does seem silly to me that if you have a server who let's say is 19 years old and is waiting on a table, they cannot bring a glass of alcohol to the people that they're waiting on, even if that person doesn't have a drink. Like, some of these things I think can be, but then again, I come from the perspective of like, I loved working part-time when I was like late middle school, high school. Like, that was the joy of my existence, was being able to work. So I think it just comes down to like what those changes are.
I think no children should work as a necessity. You know what I mean? Like, part-time labor, understandable. If you want to do it to learn the value of $1 or whatever, certainly. And a lot of kids work and they're like, family businesses and whatnot. But ultimately, I think like that genuinely harms your development, your capacity to learn when you're tired, fatigued, and you have this additional burden. I think this is there's a gigantic policy failure. I don't mean like I'm simply stating that the fact that needs to happen in this country is pretty fucked up. Let's
get more onto that.
But before,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say,
Sure.
there is apparently, according to the U.S. Department of Labor, a 69% increase in children employed illegally by companies since 2018. Child labor is on the rise.
Yeah.
By the way, this clip is brought to you by our sponsor, Epidemic Sound. They have a library of so many soundtracks and sound effects to use that you're not going to have to worry about copyright strikes. So if you're interested, the link is down below in the description. We've been using them for years. Would highly recommend them. Enjoy.